6 years ago, I lost 40 pounds and I've actually maintained that weight loss. Here are things that I no longer do since losing the 40 pounds. I no longer go into the gym and follow random influencers' workouts. I had no idea how much this was impacting my results. I felt like I was the hardest working person in the gym because I would spend 2+ hours there. Yet what I was doing when I was in the gym was not effective. I would spend a lot of my time doing booty bands, circuits, tons of cardio, and lightweight exercises just to feel the burn. Once I actually started following a structured workout split for at least 8 to 12 weeks, where I was logging my progress and taking note of the amount of weight I was using, so that way every time I went into the gym, the focus was to get stronger or to improve on my lifts. In doing that, I finally got away from that skinny fat look and actually started building lean muscle. It never occurred to me that instead of picking up the same 5-pound dumbbells to do shoulder work, maybe I should try to pick up 10 pounds and challenge what I was actually capable of. The basics in the gym go a really long way. Things like squats, deadlifts, bench press, shoulder press, and then of course you have your accessory movements which have their place, but don't neglect the basics. I no longer track my food intake. Now let me be clear, I did track my food intake through MyFitnessPal in order to lose the 40 pounds in the first place to ensure I was in a calorie deficit. Tracking your food is not a requirement when it comes to losing weight. However, if you are somebody who has been trying to intuitively eat and you have not been successful, then it may be time to pick up tracking so that you actually get clear on the amount of calories you're consuming every day. Most people highly underestimate how many calories they are consuming on a daily basis. In fact, one study showed most underestimate by over 1,000 calories every single day. This helped me to stay more accountable and also allowed me to make adjustments when I got stuck in a plateau, because your calorie requirements change over time. Your metabolism is always adapting. And as you lose weight, you need fewer calories. Taking this data-driven approach initially is what has allowed me to now take more of a mindful approach to my nutrition. Tracking food gave me the skill set to understand what proper portions should look like and what my food was comprised of from a macronutrient and a micronutrient perspective. I was somebody who used to believe that peanut butter was a high protein source because that is what it's labeled as. Good old marketing. Peanut butter, let's be clear, is not a high protein source. It's a fat source with a little bit of protein. I also had no idea what an actual serving of cereal looked like. There are some things that when you start weighing your food for the first time are quite depressing. At the same time, when you live in a country that has massive portions, this is something that is so valuable. I truly believe that if you're somebody who has some sort of body composition goal you are after and you have never tracked your food, it is highly beneficial to at least take a month or so to track your food and actually weigh it. Don't just use cups or vague measurements. After I lost the weight through tracking my food and being in a calorie deficit, I then was still tracking my food to walk my calories back up to a sustainable maintenance over time. That then gave me flexibility within my diet, and eventually I stepped away from tracking altogether and have for the last year. I now can eyeball things and know that I'm fueling my body with the correct portions and the right protein, carbs, fats, and fiber. This is also what allows it to feel like a lifestyle. Some people feel like they can track their food forever. Good for you. While I may not track my food, I do still have some self-monitoring when it comes to my nutrition. I pretty much eat on a consistent schedule. That's because sometimes I'm caught up at work and I may not actually feel hungry, but it doesn't mean that my body doesn't need food. Things like stress or stimulants like caffeine can suppress your appetite. It's as if you have earbuds in and you can't actually hear your hunger cues. Additionally, there's times where my cravings are higher or maybe I'm hungry, but hunger isn't always an emergency. It doesn't mean that just because you're hungry, you should always eat. There are a lot of things that impact our appetite. And if you always eat when you're hungry or you have cravings and you eat until you're absolutely stuffed, you're gonna have a really hard time losing weight. So I also just eat until I am satisfied most of the time. Additionally, I make sure to have protein at every single meal. Another thing that I no longer do is go out to a restaurant and order a meal that isn't centered around a lean protein. I don't look at this as restriction, I look at this as a way of life. This also prevents me from overeating on the very calorie dense things that are gonna be at a restaurant. I don't restrict myself from having those things, but when I eat something that is high in protein first, I'm full, I'm satiated, and I have less cravings. Therefore, I'm not going to overindulge on the things like chips and guac or French fries. And if you're somebody like me who eats out at least once a week, then you're gonna wanna have some good habits when you go out to eat. And lastly, I no longer try to burn as many calories as possible through my workouts. You burn significantly less calories than you think from exercising. Roughly only 5% of our metabolic rate, or the amount of calories that we are burning throughout the day comes from intentional exercise. And I promise you, your Apple Watch is far less accurate than you think. Oftentimes, the cardio machines or your calorie tracking devices are overestimating the amount of calories you're burning. And please make sure if you are tracking your food in MyFitnessPal, you turn off the setting that adds back the calories that you have burned into your total daily calories. You do not want to eat the calories back that you have burned. The primary focus of most of your workouts should be dedicated around building muscle. Why? Because building muscle is the single best thing that you can do for your metabolism and maintaining weight loss. You are going to burn more calories around the clock, even while you are doing absolutely nothing. Cardio-based workouts are amazing, and if you really enjoy them, keep them in your routine, but don't just focus on cardio and how many calories you can burn through cardio. It is a highly inefficient way to maintain weight loss. That is it for me today, guys. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, maybe a comment down below. And if you think there's somebody who could value from hearing this today, share it with them. And if you aren't already, make sure you are subscribing to my channel so you don't miss future videos. See you in the next one.